You are at the exhibition called Mapping Time, which presents a small selection of work created by me and with students and researchers working at the Software Studies Initiative, which is a lab located at Calit2.
Calit2 is the California Institute for Telecommunications and Information Technology, home to an unlikely mix of artists, computer scientists, students, and faculty from many different disciplines. The cross-disciplinary mix is evident in Mapping Time, a new exhibition in the gallery at Calit2 on the campus at UC San Diego. It's a series of collaborative artworks produced by the Calit2-based Software Studies Initiative. Led by Manovich, a visual arts professor, the core participants behind Mapping Time include Jeremy Douglas, a postdoctoral researcher in Calit2, William Huber, a PhD student in visual arts, and more than a dozen other faculty and students.
So the idea of using visualization and data analysis and applying this to cultural data sets came to me in 2005 after I was part of the opening of this building, the Calit2 building, and I saw early prototype with hyperbole display, which at that point had 55 monitors, and I see scientists using this display to present very high-resolution images of a brain and other scientific data. And I kind of got this idea, what if I take, for example, all the paintings of the Italian Renaissance and put them in this display and see how one style becomes another style. Right, so the idea is to use the same cyber infrastructure, the same techniques used in science today, but apply them to cultural data to be able to reveal kind of patterns which we never saw before.
My research is largely about video games and other complicated software systems, especially those that are produced at a very large scale, ones that take a lot of people to create. And much of my interest in video games is about them as very complicated systems of representation, as science systems that work not just in terms of story, but in terms of activity. There are things that we have to play. We have to figure out what's in them. And so these are two visualizations of fully played out video games. There are two game titles. The first is Kingdom Hearts, and the second is a sequel, Kingdom Hearts 2. And each of these images represents a full traversal of the game. And by traversal, I mean from the very first session of play to finishing the game, coming to its kind of official or canonical end.
The exhibition takes its name from one piece on display, a visualization of Time magazine covers from 1923 to 2010. The artists used advanced computer software to deconstruct trends in graphic art, the use of color, and the complexity of design, all derived from seeing the broad sweep of Time's cover images. The UC San Diego researchers and artists used the same techniques to derive meaning from other large cultural data sets.
So we're showing different ways in which we can visualize changes in time, ranging from a few seconds, like movement in a film shot or activity of a game player, to hundreds of years of gradual changes in communication strategies, like in a Time magazine or, for example, Science magazine in print publications.
Since 2008, the Software Studies Initiative has focused on the development of new methods and techniques for the analysis and visualization of visual and interactive media. The exhibition coincides with the lab releasing a number of open-source tools which were used to create all the works in the exhibition. In the summer of 2010, the team behind Mapping Time had the unique opportunity to use the gallery itself as a research lab, for instance, using gallery computers to run analyses of more than 1 million pages of Japanese comics known as manga. The lab uses the term cultural analytics to refer to its techniques for the analysis and visualization of large cultural data sets.
One of my favorite examples is in visualizing the webcomic Freak Angels. I had been working with some undergraduate researchers and interns that were working on page segmentation algorithms. They would take the whole page of panels and break it up into separate images automatically so that we could analyze each of those images in a sequence to look at color, texture, and art style in the narrative. And I ran this on 500 pages. I knew what I was going to get. I didn't even have to look at it. I got it back. And a few of the pages had been shattered into dozens of little tiny pictures. So I thought, wait a minute, what's happened? My algorithm has broken. Well, what the computer was doing by failing was pointing out to me at this particular moment that the art style had suddenly changed. I'd read the comic dozens of times. I never noticed that there was this one point in the story where characters began reaching out past the panel borders and the contents of the artwork started occasionally exploding into the margins. Now that's something, it's a subtle detail, it's an important detail, and it's something where not by failing or succeeding, but just by the way that it systematized the art, the combination of the software and the visualization said, hey, look at this. This is important. And I really enjoyed it.
Mapping Time is a free exhibition open to the public October 4th through December 10th, 2010, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday in the gallery at Calit2, located on the first floor of Atkinson Hall on the UC San Diego campus.